Who do you work for? This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
Okay.
Yeah, I do criminal details. Yeah.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
No, sir, I'm not impersonating, sir.
Given with all the lighting permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You can't be using it to pull into traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay?
This man thought he could fool an entire city with a fake police car, but when a police chief noticed his emergency lights activating in traffic, his entire operation unraveled in minutes. Here's how one officer's quick thinking exposed a dangerous impersonation scheme. But before we dive straight into the felony investigation, hit that subscribe button to stay updated on real cases like this. Body and dash cam footage from the Acworth Police Department shows a Dodge Charger equipped with emergency-style lighting being used in traffic. Inside the vehicle was Jaredson Mackey. What caught the police's attention was not just the emergency lights, but how they were being used. The Acworth Police Chief noticed the Charger's lights activating as it moved through traffic. That alone was enough to draw attention. The chief contacted dispatch and requested a marked unit to make a traffic stop and identify the driver. An on-duty officer responded and stopped the vehicle. What came next was an investigation that ultimately led to Mackey being charged with felony impersonation of a police officer.
Hey, partner.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Officer Park with the Acworth Police Department.
How are you?
The only reason why I'm pulling you over, I guess y'all were, well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all are with or what was going on.
Okay.
So he called out on the radio and asked for a marked unit, and that's why I got you pulled over.
That's fine.
The stop took place near a local business on Main Street. When the officer approached the Charger, the vehicle looked noticeably similar to a police unit. There were emergency lights installed, and the windows were heavily tinted. The driver was wearing a uniform that closely matched a standard law enforcement uniform. The officer explained why the stop was happening. The police chief had observed the Charger driving through traffic while using emergency lights and wanted to know who the driver was and what authority he had to operate that way. The driver identified himself as Jaredson Mackey and claimed he worked for Georgia Metropolitan. He introduced himself as an off-duty hero operator working to assist law enforcement agencies. He said the vehicle belonged to his company. His tone was confident, almost dismissive of the officer's concerns. He seemed to believe his permits and company affiliation would make this all go away.
So, I'll just let him come up if you want. I want to ask who y'all work for, Georgia Metropolitan?
Yeah, I'm an off-duty hero operator.
Oh, off-duty hero operator?
How you doing, Chief? Hey. I'm an off-duty operator. I just working off criminal detail. That's my ID. That's my badge. Yeah, I just work in a criminal detail. I went to get my car checked up because you can see all the lights on.
As the conversation continued, Mackey tried to distance himself from being mistaken for a police officer. He claimed many times that he was not impersonating a law enforcement officer and insisted that the uniform was simply his company uniform. But his answers were vague and evasive. When police asked about the agency he worked under, he gave unclear responses. When the police pressed about the purpose of the lights, he said they were related to escort work. When asked why the vehicle was registered to him personally rather than a company, he confirmed it was his personal car. The officer's expression changed. Mackey's story wasn't adding up. The police chief joined the conversation and asked direct questions. He wanted to know why red emergency lights were installed and why they were being used in traffic. Mackey claimed he was not trying to control or stop traffic. He only attempted to move through congestion. The chief pointed out that activating emergency lights in that way can mislead drivers into believing that the vehicle belongs to an authorized emergency unit.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all these emergency lights? And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Acworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice? That's a standstill. So I flashed the lights hoping to see me that I was trying to get in the line. Who do you work for? This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
Okay.
Yeah, I do criminal details. Yeah.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
No, sir, I'm not impersonating, sir.
You got any ID on you?
Yes, sir. If you look in the front,
Yeah, I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out.
Yeah, that's when it activated to the back.
Yeah, where's your ID?
Right, yes, Chief. Yeah.
The issue with emergency lights. At this point in the investigation, officers began focusing less on Mackey's claims and more on the law. Mackey produced a lighting permit, which made the situation worse. The police officers reviewed the permit carefully. It was valid through December 2024. On the surface, it appeared to allow certain lighting equipment, but permits are specific. Not all permits allow red or blue lights, and not all permits allow lights to be used freely in traffic. Officers discussed this in detail while standing nearby. Georgia law places strict limits on emergency lighting. Red and blue lights are usually reserved for police, fire, and ambulance services. Other vehicles, such as escorts, tow trucks, or funeral processions, are limited to amber or white lights and are only for specific purposes. The question became simple. Even while owning a permit, did Mackey have legal authority to use red emergency lights the way he did?
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right down the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It works.
Be right back with you, okay?
All right.
He's got a lighting permit on the... I'm just looking at this, sir. The lighting permit's good through December of this year.
Emergency.
Hey, Chief, what do you say that cross was where you saw him activate the lights on Lake Acworth?
What's the name of the subdivision with the mayor behind Monty?
Like a
He was at
Acworth muffler.
and he was wanting to turn right out onto 92 in that string of traffic there, and he turns on
Okay.
the lights to get out there.
Okay, so near Cherokee Street.
Reviewing the law on the scene, the officers pulled up the relevant sections of Georgia law. They reviewed statutes covering emergency vehicles, lighting permits, and improper use of emergency equipment. Several important details stood out. Red lights are tightly regulated. Blue lights are restricted to law enforcement. Amber lights are typically used for escorts and service vehicles. Permits do not override misuse. Emergency lights are only used for specific authorized purposes. Even if Mackey's permit allowed certain lights to be installed, using them to move through traffic without an escort assignment crossed a line. One officer made it clear that Mackey wasn't an authorized escort. He was using the lights to bypass traffic.
The thing is so he has a lighting permit that's valid.
What?
He has a lighting permit that's valid for the vehicle to have
You
the.
can't have red, though. You can't have red or blue, right?
That's what I'm curious about. If he has a company that does escorts, I'd have to look back in the law. I would assume it's amber and white.
Right.
But at the very least, from what Chief's saying, he's improperly using them. He's not on an escort.
Right.
He's just trying to cheat his way into traffic. So at the very least, I have him on improper use of emergency equipment.
As officers continued to observe Mackey and the equipment in his vehicle, further doubts arose. The vehicle had heavily tinted windows, including a full windshield tint, which itself can be a violation depending on limits. Officers also noticed Mackey was carrying a firearm with magazine holders on his belt. It's not necessarily illegal to carry a firearm, but the combination of factors, uniform, lights, vehicle setup, and behavior portrayed a troubling situation.
He's got front windshield tinted and all windows are there. His front windshield's a tire tinted also.
Does he got a gun on him too? He's got mag carriers on a belt. Is there
One officer said the situation resembled a textbook police impersonation case. At this point, this case was no longer about a simple traffic citation. Another major concern raised by the police chief involved public perception. The uniform worn by Mackey closely resembled a police uniform, which could easily make the public believe he was a legitimate police officer. His vehicle lighting matched what drivers expect from real emergency vehicles. That combination can cause drivers to comply out of fear or trust, even when the person has no lawful authority. Police impersonation cases like these are taken seriously because they endanger the public. Drivers may pull over, and pedestrians may comply. Victims may believe they are dealing with real officers. The chief knew it was more than a traffic stop.
This really feels like that whole scenario I was telling you on TV.
This is police impersonation.
Did he mention what his company name was for the escorts?
Yeah, he's mentioned it a couple of times.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's Georgia Metropolitan. That's right, it's on his patch.
After reviewing the permit and the law, the officer returned to Mackey. He explained that while he would assume the vehicle's lighting was permitted for installation, using those lights to move through traffic was not allowed. Mackey was issued a ticket for unlawful operation of an emergency vehicle. At this point, Mackey became visibly anxious. His confidence completely evaporated. He repeatedly asked to speak with the police chief and explained that receiving tickets could cause major problems with his work and with the Georgia Department of Transportation. His voice changed. He was no longer the confident operator. He was someone realizing the consequences.
All right, Mr. Mackey, here's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the light and permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You
No,
can't
you're right.
you can't be using it to pull into traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay? Just here.
I know, let me just talk to Chief real quick before, because I'm telling you how it's going to work. Even though I'm doing this on my private side, once I get this ticket, G-Dot is going to ground me again. I'm going to get grounded. And that's why I trying to don't interfere my personal business with G-Dot. Anytime they run a driver's license number, I'm going to get grounded. I asked the chief, please.
Hey, but you have to understand that this whole scenario is a big issue for us too, because the uniform and lights and all that. This is one.
He insisted again that this was his company, that the uniform was not meant to impersonate police, and that he worked with high-profile clients. He also claimed he was a former Bahamas policeman, but his pleas sounded desperate now. The officer listened but stayed focused. Despite Mackey's pleading, the police chief made one thing clear: the incident would not end with a ticket. He told Mackey that he would have the department verify his employment and business claims. The Criminal Investigation Division would also determine whether Mackey's actions violated impersonation laws. Before allowing Mackey to leave, the police chief made one thing clear: the incident would not end with a ticket. He told Mackey that he would have the department verify his employment and business claims. The Criminal Investigation Division would also find out whether Mackey's actions violated impersonation laws or not. This was a serious situation, and police impersonation does not require someone to clearly claim they are an officer. The law often focuses on appearance, behavior, and intent. If a reasonable person could believe someone is a police officer, that can meet the threshold. Mackey's lights, uniform, vehicle, and actions placed him firmly in that category. He was now in a situation where every detail of his behavior and equipment would be inspected under the law.
No, the thing is, this is my company. I run my company respectfully, okay? Because I deal with high clients. This is my uniform. Nothing on me say officer, nothing. This is my uniform.
I got you.
You understand? But please, I just want to talk to the chief. I know you're going to still do your job. I mean no harm. You can check me. My badge number is 440. Everyone the express means.
Just hear me out.
I don't want to get grounded.
If the chief wants to argue, that's fine. But this is going to stand. All right. Just let me explain this. What I need you to do is sign here at the X. Signing is not an admission.
I know the routines.
All right.
I'm a former police in the Bahamas. I know.
Okay. Do you need a pen? There you go.
Sir, please, if I could.
After further investigation beyond the traffic stop, authorities concluded that Mackey's conduct went beyond improper lighting use. He was charged with impersonating a police officer. That charge carried serious legal consequences along with the potential harm it could cause to the public. Impersonating a police officer undermines public trust and creates risky situations for people. Some may follow unlawful commands and end up under serious threat. In this case, the police chief's quick observation prevented further misuse before someone was harmed or misled. A Dodge Charger outfitted with emergency lights moving through traffic might seem like a part of your routine, but in Mackey's case, it led to a deeper investigation into false authority and misuse of police equipment. Mackey insisted he was running a legitimate business and had proper permits. He even denied the intent to impersonate a law enforcement officer. Yet, the body and dash cam footage painted a very different picture.
Everything I point out to everyone else, auto-generated court date right now is showing for the 18th of August at 9 a.m. at our court. The address is right there on the back of your copy. This phone number right here is to the court services. It takes about 3 to 5 business days for the citation. Give them a call and they'll explain everything to you.
Okay.
Do you have any further?
Do I have to attend the court or I just can pay it because I really...
Once you contact that number, they'll tell you all your options if you can just pay it outright and they'll explain your payment problems.
Hey, Chief.
Have you got a business card?
Yes, sir. Can I step out?
Yeah. And you're all hot, but what about all these people in there?
I know.
That's why the windows for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to crack the window right now, Chief.
Won't you open all the windows so they don't...
No, the thing is, when I ride, the air, the compressor's going to kick in. Yeah.
Thanks to the police chief's quick thinking, the situation was stopped before it became any worse. This incident is a stark reminder of why impersonation laws exist. The law does not leave room for close enough. It can recognize that even the appearance of authority, when misused, can cause real harm, including public distrust and theft of identities. That's why strict impersonation laws are essential to protect communities from deception and danger. What are your thoughts on Mackey's case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy real-time cases like these, feel free to subscribe to our channel.